I get offended when somebody don't like mine.
I take it personally when someone says they don't like my sound. From crafting timeless anthems like Cry Me a River and One in a Million that shaped an entire generation's music, to facing backlash over AI-generated artists and claims of stealing beats from smaller producers. How did one of hip-hop's most iconic hitmakers fall from industry royalty to being labeled Public Enemy #1? The rise of a Virginia visionary. Before Timothy Zachary Mosley became the Grammy-winning mastermind we call Timbaland, he was just a kid from Norfolk, Virginia, searching for identity in a world that didn't quite accept him. Raised in a working-class home where his mother managed a homeless shelter and his father worked for Amtrak, young Tim's path to fame seemed improbable. In truth, he never really fit in at all.
A guy that was just trying to really fit in, because I wasn't a sports person, I wasn't like a school person, I was just always a sound person. I thought I was like a weird person, but was always cool with the drug dealers and cool with the nerds, so I was like a hybrid. But I just really embraced music, and music allowed me to fit in because I was a great DJ. So music allowed me to fit in with the sports people and just regular popular people because I was a popular guy. With my music made me.
But the road that would lead Tim to become one of the most defining producers in modern music almost ended before it began. At only 14 years old, back in 1986, while washing dishes at Red Lobster, he was accidentally shot in the neck by a co-worker, an injury that left him partially paralyzed for 9 months. Most would have surrendered to despair. Most would have accepted defeat. But Tim wasn't like most people. During recovery, forced to DJ using only his left hand, he uncovered something deeper. He learned to turn restriction into rhythm, to create brilliance out of limitation, to see struggle as a tool for reinvention. That moment would define his creative DNA, doing more with less, finding beauty in constraint, and never abandoning the sound that fueled his purpose. What makes his rise even more fascinating is the place that birthed it. Early 90s Virginia Beach wasn't a musical capital. It wasn't New York with its lyrical grit, nor Atlanta with its bounce, nor LA with its glossy funk. It was simply Virginia, a place most people pass through without stopping.
I think isolation, it allowed you to dream big. And when I look back at it, I think if you had everything at your fingertips, the hunger might wouldn't have been there. By not having nothing, and we was always chasing DC and New York, not knowing it was 6 hours away because we're kids, it just seemed so far and so far-fetched to get to. And to get recognized, it made us work harder.
Yet, something special was forming in Virginia Beach. Tim went to Salem High School alongside his cousin Pharrell Williams and friends Terrence and Gene Thornton, who'd later become Pusha T and No Malice of Clips. Together they formed a creative circle called Surrounded by Idiots, SBI, a young collective bound by an unshakable hunger to be heard. And then came Missy Elliott. Missy wasn't from Virginia Beach, she was from Portsmouth. But when a mutual friend introduced her to Tim at his home, something clicked instantly. She began singing over his gritty beats, and Tim recognized a voice unlike anything he'd heard. Missy became his loudest supporter, always reminding him of his greatness. She gave him courage when doubt crept in, pushed him to refine every detail, and refused to let him settle for good when greatness was waiting. The magic truly began when Tim and Missy linked up with Devante Swing of Jodeci in the early 90s. Devante signed Missy's group Sister to his Swing Mob label and brought both of them to Rochester, New York. It was Devante who christened Timothy Mosley Timbaland, inspired by the Timbaland boot brand, a name that would soon symbolize invention and mastery. Within Swing Mob's DA Basement crew, which featured Genuine, Playa with Static Major, Sugar including Tweet, and more, Tim began molding a sound that would redefine R&B and hip-hop forever. He blended rap's raw percussion with R&B's velvet tones, layering crisp drum sequences and digital textures that blurred every genre boundary. The real breakthrough came in 1996, when Tim produced most of Genuine's debut album Genuine, The Bachelor, including its lead single Pony. That record, with its hypnotic, stuttering bass line, hoarse whinny effect, and slow seductive groove, became a cultural earthquake. Pony soared to number 6 on the Billboard Hot 100, hit number 1 on the R&B hip-hop chart, and went platinum. But Pony was only the spark. That same year, Tim co-produced Aaliyah's second album One in a Million, crafting 10 of its 17 tracks, including the title song, If Your Girl Only Knew, Hot Like Fire, and 4-Page Letter. Its signature offbeat rhythms, sharp drum syncopation, and minimal production framed Aaliyah's angelic voice, and forever changed how R&B sounded.
It was a hit, and I ain't think it was gonna be a hit with 1 minute, man. You gonna put this out? Tim, you crazy. This jam, all my girls, the girls going crazy. I'm like, yeah, man, that girl was going crazy.
Released in August 1996, One in a Million debuted at number 18 on the Billboard 200, later climbing to number 10 and selling over 3 million copies in the US, earning a triple platinum certification. The title song ruled the hot R&B hip-hop songs chart for 6 straight weeks. Tim and Missy, who penned the lyrics, built a creative triangle with Aaliyah, often crafting songs in spontaneous, inspired studio bursts. The following year, 1997, Tim fully produced Missy Elliott's debut "Ça Part Du Pour Fly," shaping all 17 tracks, including hits like "The Rain," "Ça Part Du Pour Fly," "Sock It To Me," and "Beat Me 9/11." Released in July 1997, the album entered the Billboard 200 at number 3, sold more than 1.2 million copies, went platinum, and received critical acclaim. Rolling Stone hailed it as a boundary-rattling opus. As the 2000s arrived, Tim's career reached astronomical heights. He produced Justin Timberlake's "Cry Me a River" in 2002 and the entire Future Sex Love Sounds album in 2006, which spawned mega-hits like "Sexaback." The chemistry between Tim and Justin was undeniable, generating some of the most defining pop records of the decade.
Justin always, he liked what me and Missy did, and I met him when he was 15 at the studio, and he was like, "Hey man, I want to work with you, blah, blah, blah."
Was he still in the group, or was
he was still in the group,
okay.
and this was before Alone came out. Alone was about that Michael Jackson, no, Gone was coming out, and this is like right around that time. So he was still in the group, but he was about to do a solo album.
Tim dropped his own project, Shock Value, in 2007, featuring chart toppers Give It To Me with Nelly Furtado and Timberlake, and The Way I Are featuring Kerry Hilson. He later contributed to Michael Jackson's posthumous material, Beyoncé's self-titled 2013 album, and Jay-Z's Magna Carta Holy Grail that same year. His partnership with Jay-Z was particularly legendary. Tim was behind What? Jigga Who, Big Pimping, Dirt Off Your Shoulder, and a list of timeless classics. The Dirt Off Your Shoulder session, famously captured in the documentary Fade to Black, showcased Tim's genius in real time, cycling through beats until Jay found the right one, then watching him effortlessly shape one of hip-hop's most iconic moments. By the end of the 2000s, Tim had earned 4 Grammy Awards from 22 nominations, with his net worth hovering around $85 million. His sound had influenced global pop production, his glitchy rhythms and innovative sampling becoming templates for the 2000s. He collaborated with nearly every major name of the era, from Madonna to Mariah Carey, from Snoop Dogg to Ludacris. But as the 2010s neared, the tides began to turn. The culture was evolving, music was shifting, and Tim was heading toward challenges that would shake everything he'd built. No one could have predicted that the man who defined an era was about to enter the darkest chapter of his life. The fall from grace. Beneath the glow of fame and fortune, a storm was quietly brewing. In the early 2010s, Tim faced a collision of personal crises that nearly destroyed him. It began harmlessly enough. A routine root canal in 2011 led to prescriptions for OxyContin and Percocet. But what started as pain relief soon spiraled into a consuming addiction that would haunt him for years.
Addiction gives you power. It gives you, make you feel like it brings out the inner demon in you and it stands forefront. So addiction makes you fit in. Like the thing that you're not, when you don't fit in, addiction makes you fit in, and when you in it, you like, it's just like, it gives you like this superpower that really like, that's why people don't want to let go.
At first, the pills made Tim feel unstoppable. They numbed the chaos of celebrity life, the constant pressures, the endless creative demands, and the growing tension in his marriage to Monique Idlet Mosley. But gradually, they turned him into someone unrecognizable. At his worst, Tim was consuming 180 milligrams of OxyContin a day, spending nearly $6,000 a month on prescriptions from doctors all too willing to enable the habit. The addiction devastated every corner of his life. His weight soared to 350 pounds on a 5'7" frame, and doctors warned he was pre-diabetic. His once unmatched creativity, the very heartbeat of his legacy, began to fade. The music he crafted during this time, though polished and professional, lacked the spark, the pulse, the innovation that once made him unstoppable.
I think the recovery, being on drugs and doing music was like wonderful. Because I think my music was like amazing. You know what I'm saying? And that's the whole thing.
What were the drug songs?
Maybe 2020, the 2020 experience.
Great album.
And then I want to say Beyonce, I think Drunk in Love doing that. Jay-Z, Magna Carta.
What?
Yeah.
Being high and doing music was great because those albums in that time was amazing, but it's like decades long of a run, right? You know, like it's late 90s, early 2000s of a run. So it's not like you needed that. Are you saying the feeling of producing music
It was fun.
But deep down, Tim knew the truth. Those newer albums, though commercially strong, couldn't match the timelessness of his earlier masterpieces. The pure creativity behind One in a Million, Pony, and Cry Me a River, all born when he was clean and clear-minded. God hadn't taken his gift away. The blessings were still there. But Tim understood he wasn't operating anywhere near his full potential. His marriage to Monique Idlet Mosley, which began in June 2008, started to crumble under the weight of his addiction. In October 2013, Monique filed for divorce, demanding significant financial support for their daughter, Rain, and her son from a previous relationship. The legal battle turned ugly, filled with disputes over assets, child support, and alimony. dragging on for years until finally being settled in March 2017. As if addiction and heartbreak weren't enough, financial troubles came crashing in. In 2013, the IRS filed a $4 million tax lien against him for unpaid taxes. Additional liens soon followed, totaling nearly $3.8 million over several years. They were eventually resolved in 2017 through payments and settlements, but the fear of losing everything hung heavy over him. Then came the moment that changed his life. The intervention that saved Tim didn't come from doctors or rehab. It came from something deeper. One night, lying in bed, Tim had what he describes as an out-of-body experience. He saw himself from above, lifeless, a haunting vision of his own death.
God tapped me on my shoulder, showing me at one point I was in the bed, but out of my body, and seeing myself, I guess if you would say death, right? Sitting there, it's like, this is gonna be you. And God just spoke to me, like, you gotta get off this. I got bigger works for you to do. I need you off this. And then me talking like I'm not a person that scream out loud, and like I talk to God in my mind, and I talk like I'm talking.
Tim believed God spoke to him that night, urging him to get clean. With the unwavering support of his current wife, Michelle Dennis, who became his guiding light, Tim began weaning himself off the drugs on his own. No rehab, no clinic. The process was brutal, agonizing withdrawals, mood swings, and crushing fatigue, but Tim endured. By 2020, he had dropped over 130 pounds through a disciplined mix of boxing, weight training, and clean eating, determined to rebuild himself both physically and spiritually. But as his personal life found balance, the music world he once ruled was moving forward without him. New producers were shaping the sound of the times. Swizz Beatz had carved his era, Pharrell continued to evolve, and for the first time, Tim questioned if he still belonged. The evolution of music hit him like a wave. The digital revolution had transformed everything, from how songs were made to how they reached listeners. Where Tim once spent hours layering sounds on his ASR-10 or MPC, new producers were creating hits straight from laptops using FL Studio. The syncopated rhythms that had defined Tim's sound were now replaced by trap hi-hats and 808s dominating the charts.
That's why I started Beat Club, his stuff like, I would look for stuff like that and find, really use the internet. But I think I would get in a community and let the community be like, yo, that little kid Cole, just be quiet. Like I always been doing my shit. It was Missy who told me that I was dope. I feel like it would be the same way around. I feel like somebody would vouch for me. And I think, because all I'm doing is showcasing my love, just to showing you like, yo, I'm here. I really love this shit.
In 2020, during the COVID-19 pandemic, Tim co-founded Versus alongside Swizz Beatz, a live-stream battle platform that quickly became a cultural phenomenon. The project earned a spot on Time's 100 Most Influential People list in 2021. Around the same period, Tim also revived Beat Club, originally launched in 2001, reinventing it as a digital marketplace and mentorship hub that connected producers, writers, and labels. Yet, beneath the success, a new reality was sinking in. The younger generation wasn't nostalgic for Cry Me a River or One in a Million. They craved what was current, the freshest sound, the newest name, the next big wave. And while Tim's legacy was untouchable, his relevance felt fragile. In 2023, he tried reigniting the spark with singles like Keep Going Up featuring Nelly Furtado and Justin Timberlake, hoping to recapture the magic that once defined him. The songs were polished, even praised, but they didn't shake the culture like before. The world had changed, and Tim was still trying to find his footing within it. Then came 2025, and with it, the controversy that would dominate the next chapter of his story. In June 2025, Tim co-founded Stage Zero alongside film producer Rocky Mudalia and AI music strategist Zaid Portillo. The company partnered with Suno AI, a generative music platform, to create autonomous virtual artists under a new genre banner, A-pop or artificial pop. Tim described Stage Zero as a fusion of intellectual property, AI coding, and robotics designed to create music, visuals, and evolving personas capable of learning and performing independently. The company's debut creation was Tata Takumi, often stylized simply as Tata. Marketed as a self-learning, sentient digital artist, Tata's design embraced sleek cyberpunk visuals, pink hair, metallic skin, heavy chrome jewelry, and a hyperreal digital body inspired by Blade Runner's futuristic style. But what truly ignited controversy wasn't Tata's AI origins. It was her identity. Tata was a non-black AI artist who spoke in what critics called a blaccent, an exaggerated imitation of African-American vernacular English. The backlash was instant and fierce. Critics accused him of digital blackface, of exploiting black culture and music for profit while cutting out real black creators. Tata's debut single, Glitch X Pulse, dropped on October 10, 2025, blending electronic drum patterns with lyrics about living inside a digital glitch. The music video, featuring Tim and the Jabberwockies dance crew, drew harsh reviews. Vice labeled it as soulless as expected, while NPR dismissed it as a ghost in a misguided machine. But the AI outrage was just the surface. The real storm came next, with claims that Stage Zero's foundation itself was built on stolen creativity, the theft allegations, and what followed. Between 2023 and mid-2025, Tim had become a fixture on TikTok Live, regularly inviting independent producers, singers, and beatmakers to submit their work for instant feedback. He framed these sessions as talent showcases, open doors for discovery, often promoted under his Beat Club brand. But there was a hidden problem. None of those artists were ever signed or compensated. And once Tim's pivot toward AI became public, suspicions grew that their submitted music had been quietly used to train generative models without consent. The highest profile case centered on a young producer named K Fresh. In June 2025, Tim had uploaded a TikTok clip featuring one of Fresh's beats, with his producer tag intact, alongside a freestyle by rapper C Red. Tim reportedly fed that beat into Suno AI to generate a demo under the name Baby Timbo. The AI output retained Fresh's tag and mirrored his sound almost identically. When the incident surfaced online, outrage exploded. Represented by attorney Ryan McKelly, K Fresh released an open letter demanding a public apology within 24 hours. Proof that Suno had deleted his data, and concrete measures to prevent future misuse, citing copyright and contract violations. Tim apologized publicly on June 20, 2025, saying, "I want to sincerely apologize to K Fresh. I should have done my due diligence. My mission has always been to uplift creators, not take from them." But for many, the apology felt shallow. K Fresh responded, "Talk to me. You owe us that. You have a responsibility to the next generation." By then, the damage had already been done. The man once hailed for revolutionizing sound design was now being accused of stealing from the very artists he'd inspired. Singer Zara Scully soon came forward, claiming that Tim had used her vocals from a 2024 recording session to train the Baby Timbo AI without consent. She described her heartbreak, going from excitement over a potential collaboration to realizing her voice had been repurposed in AI output she never approved. In an interview with rapper Curtis King on YouTube, Zara recounted how her unreleased takes were sampled and fed into training data. Tim denied wrongdoing, insisting he had no control over what Suno did with uploaded material. But to critics, those statements sounded like excuses, a deflection of accountability. On social media, frustration boiled over. Viewers accused him of spending countless hours on TikTok Live listening to independent artists, only to recycle their work into AI-driven experiments. Industry peers began to weigh in. Will.i.am called the situation deeply concerning, emphasizing the ethical vacuum in AI-powered music. Jermaine Dupri labeled the move crazy and disappointing, condemning the prioritization of digital voices over real human R&B talent. Legendary engineer Young Guru addressed him directly on Twitch, declaring, "Human expression can never be reduced to this." Even Chuck D, who initially defended AI by comparing the backlash to early auto-tune resistance, faced his own wave of criticism for ignoring the theft aspect. Online, the reaction grew merciless. Posts branded Tim as washed up, greedy, and soulless. One viral tweet read, "Creating a non-black AI artist to profit off black culture without guilt is wild." Another stated, "Timbaland's fallen off, straight weirdo energy." Calls for boycott spread like wildfire. For a producer who had spent 3 decades earning respect, the reversal was staggering. Influential critic Anthony Fantano called the project downright evil. The consensus was overwhelming. Timbaland had crossed a moral line. Yet Tim didn't back down. He doubled down on his AI vision, framing the backlash as a natural part of innovation, just like the early hate for sampling. In interviews and online posts, he defended Tata, insisting she had real soul despite being digital. He pointed out that 4 human songwriters had co-written her lyrics, arguing that AI wasn't replacing creativity, it was enhancing it.
I'm gonna tap my heads ahead. This might be too much gems for y'all. Like I'm always, see now that I'm like in the world, I'm 8 steps ahead. So I already been on this for a couple of years. I'm like, AI's gonna take over all producers. I'm telling you.
No, don't say that, man. Don't say that.
How long we got?
So look, this is what I said why it can't happen. Because now what the problem is, the AI has to partner with a producer, like a Metro or a Mustard, and Mustard give it its algorithm of the sound. So now the percentage is broken through Mustard and the AI.
Tim has continued to defend himself against the theft allegations, insisting that he has no control over Suno's training data. He's described incidents like the K-Fresh situation as mistakes rather than acts of deliberate exploitation, maintaining that his intentions were never malicious. Despite the criticism, he's pressed forward with promoting Stage Zero and Tata, seemingly convinced that time will prove his vision right. But to many observers, it looks like something else entirely, a legend refusing to accept that the world has moved on, clinging to relevance through controversy instead of the groundbreaking music that once defined him. One viral comment summed it up bluntly: Timbaland spent hours on TikTok Live listening to independent artists just to sign an AI artist. You can't tell me he wasn't using that music to train his AI. What makes Tim's story truly tragic is that it never had to end this way. As of October 2025, he remains active in Miami, hosting near-daily Timbo IDO live streams on X, focused on music discovery and AI discussion. Versus has been revived after reclaiming ownership from Triller in 2024, now partnering with X for free streaming events. Beat Club continues connecting producers with opportunities, but the AI controversy has overshadowed all of it. Tatter's Glitch X Pulse earned modest streams yet failed to chart, and boycotts persist. Meanwhile, lawsuits filed against Sunno by major labels like Sony, UMG, and Warner for alleged copyright infringement have put Tim under uncomfortable scrutiny. What his career now reflects is both inspiration and caution. A man who overcame paralysis to reshape modern music, who fought addiction and depression, only to face accusations of betraying the very culture that built him. It's a story defined by monumental highs and devastating lows.
Man, you know, because I used to work so hard, it is like work smarter, not harder. So now I learn how to say, I did it. You ain't do it. So, because you ain't do it, you should help me out and do it. That's how I do it. Like, yo, I'm going to show you what to do, and I'm going to give you some game.
Right.
How can I lose? It's like it's being, I'm smart.
As of 2025, Tim's net worth remains estimated around $85 million. His released instrumental projects like Timbo Progression, exploring Afrobeats influences, and appeared on ABC News to discuss his evolving work. He hasn't retired or disappeared, but the question lingers, at what cost? The truth is, no one knows what comes next for Tim. He's teased further AI advancements through Stage Zero, hinting that Tatter is only the beginning. He continues to collaborate with established artists and mentor younger producers through Beat Club. He's still active, still present, and deeply committed to his vision of what music's future might become. Click one of the cards on your screen to explore more stories like this one.